Alright everyone, so you may be thinking that now that the summer event has been announced, your annual season of suffering has begun. Although that's not the case, because this year, the event actually looks to be decent. Who would have thought Gaijin putting out something that is both fun and gives good rewards? But it looks like that is the case. Now, of course, with this video, there's a lot to cover. I'm going to try and keep it fairly short and brief. I won't be going into a huge amount of detail on the individual vehicles themselves, although I will be linking each of the devblog pages for these vehicles in the description. So if there's a particular vehicle you want to go and look at in more detail, go into the description, click on that vehicle's devblog link, and you should have all the info right in front of you. Now, this is so-called Operation H.E.A.T, no longer Operation Summer, Operation H.E.A.T now, and this will be featuring air vehicles, aircraft, ground vehicles, and also naval vessels. So, 3 different types of tasks for you to do. You probably will be able to do all of them if you want to, but it's most likely people will focus on a single vehicle type, maybe 2, if they feel they have the time. Now, this event will be running from the 2nd of August until the 26th of August, so you do have time to get through all of the tasks. Now, what are the prizes? 6 new premium vehicles, 2 tanks, 2 aircraft, and 2 boats. So all of them are premium, even though one's a tier 5, they're all premium, which is very nice. Gonna start off with the tanks, BT-7 F-32, tier 2, premium Russian. What is this? Well, it's a BT-7, and instead of the standard fairly small gun, you now have a 76mm F-32 cannon, which can use AP-HE rounds. You are still fast, you still have somewhat lacking armor, but you have more firepower. The BT-7, even though the armor is very, very low, very thin armor, it's, even with the lesser gun, it's fast and it's got good firepower. In this case, again, it's going to be a fast vehicle with good firepower, and it has a scouting ability, so this could be quite a fun little tank. Moving on now to the Albal 74 HVG. We already have a version of this in the game. This looks to be a slightly different variant, but nonetheless, it's an Italian armoured car at tier 5. It's a premium. It's going to be quick. It can go over 100 kilometers per hour, and you have a stabilized gun that can fire APDS FS rounds. Not too bad. You also have some smoke grenades by the looks of it, and a gun on top of the turret. Now, of course, the M60 Ariete was removed. That was the tier 5 premium for the Italians. It was removed from the game. So now they have this. Being a premium, a lot of people are going to be using this to grind the Italian tree. The spam will be real. This is quick. It is small. It's going to be very cancerous, I think, but still, if you're the one playing it, it will be a fun vehicle to play. Getting over to the Germans for the aviation, the Germans are getting a prize. They're getting the Bf-110C6. We already have a few 110s in the game, and of course, we do know that they are very good for close air support. This is what Gaijin focus on in the individual devlog when you read it for this aircraft. It is the standard sort of frontal nose armor of a normal 110, good for anti-aircraft, and then you have a slightly higher caliber, more powerful gun with 60 rounds of ammunition underneath the fuselage. This will be good for busting tanks. Depending on the BR, it will be a nice backup, I think, for vehicles such as the Pack Puma, another event vehicle from Operation Summer a few years back. So I'm looking forward to putting it in a lineup with that and using it as close air support in ground games. And if you want to take it into air games, I'm sure you could use that high caliber gun, maybe for busting sort of bots, medium tanks, maybe even light pillboxes, you never know. Now, this is probably the one I'm most excited to sort of give a go. This is the P-59A Era Comet, a tier 4 jet. Yes, you heard me right, it is a jet at tier 4. Definitely not a spelling error on Gaijin's part, because they say this multiple times during the devblog and the actual news post. This is America's first jet fighter, and it was horrendously underpowered, and due to this, it is a tier 4. In terms of armament, you will see that there is 350 cals in the nose, and on the other side of the nose, you have a 37mm M4 cannon. This was, of course, made by Bell, the same company who made the King Cobra, and due to that, it has very similar armament with the 37mm and the 50 cals. This is a fairly slow jet, but it is a tier 4 premium, and depending on the BR, it could be a very nice aircraft, or it could be fairly lackluster. Top speed of 650 kilometers per hour doesn't put it at a massive advantage when compared to some of the so-called super props in late tier 4. So we will just have to wait and see just how well this performs against some of those aircraft. Getting across now to the final vehicle class, boats. Tier 2 prize, the earlier prize in this, is the River class vessel for the British, 2 102mm cannons, and also some 20mm cannons for anti-aircraft. I will admit I don't play boats so much, so I'm not going to go into a massive amount of detail, because I fear I would embarrass myself with my lack of knowledge. But this looks like a nice little boat, looks like a sub-chaser, and as far as I know, it is a predecessor, or not predecessor, sorry, it is a replacement for the Flower class vessel, which we of course have in War Thunder at the end of Tier 1, if I remember correctly. Moving on now to the H.E.A.T, which is a Tier 3 destroyer on the Japanese tree. They only just got given a naval tech tree, and now they're already getting an event destroyer premium. Now this looks very similar to the already available Kiyoshimo premium destroyer in the Japanese tech tree, although it does have a few differences. Far less anti-aircraft armament, this time only 2 40mm cannons for anti-aircraft role are on this vessel, but also there is another turret at the back. Rather than having 4 main guns, you now have a third main turret which has a single cannon, giving you 5 main caliber guns. The vessel itself, from at least experience I have with the Kiyoshimo, I can tell you it has decent speed and it's a fairly decent vessel overall, although it can only use HE rounds, which can be a tad tricky when facing more heavily armoured vessels, so that could also be a thing for this vessel, in which case it could slightly hinder it when facing bigger, more heavily armoured vehicles, although when you're facing smaller torpedo boats, the HE shells certainly are not an issue. When it comes down to the marks of distinction, and yes, it is not a crafting event, we have marks of distinction. You have to do various tasks here for each vehicle type. Every time for the 5th mark of distinction you will get the first prize vehicle. For the 6th, you will then get the camouflage for that vehicle. For 10, every time you get the top vehicle, this of course being the Aero Comet, the Albal 74 and the Udashi, and then for 11 you get the camo. For the other marks of distinction in between, not for all of them but for most of the ones in between there, you will get either an ammunition decoration or a so-called flame decal. Nothing really here as far as I can tell to tell us what exactly they are, but still, there's some nice little things you get in between. And of course, for the 12th one, you get another one of those additional decorations, so you may or may not want to get it, but if you're a collector, it's likely you will want to get that 12th mark of distinction. Then of course we have the tasks. For pilots, you have to destroy 35 enemies in AB, 18 in RB, and 12 in SB to get the necessary sort of point for that task. That is over multiple games. 18 in RB is certainly doable over the 2 days that you have to complete this task. You then have to win 10 battles with an activity of 60% or higher, 10 tons of bombs on enemy bases, 11 enemies in 1 battle, or 4 in RB and 2 in SB, and then 7 assists over those 2 days. For aircraft, all of them are certainly doable. Moving on to tanks, 45 enemies in AB, 23 in RB, and 15 in SB over the 2 days in any games. Multiple games, just racking up those kills. Again, perfectly doable. Then you have to win 10 battles with 70% activity or higher. Again, it depends how much time you have to play the game, but I would say that's doable. Capture 15 points in ground battles whilst using a ground vehicle or helicopter. Go in a fast tank, rush the points. You can do that if you really are committed to it. Destroy 11 vehicles in 1 battle, or 6 in RB, or 4 in SB. If that's over multiple spawns in 1 game, that's again perfectly doable. And then 25 assists over the 2 days. So tank tasks as well, not difficult whatsoever. I think the assist ones are going to be very easy to get. So now moving on to the sailors, 25,000 damage whilst controlling a ship over the course of the 2 days that the mark of distinction is up for grabs. Then you have to win 10 battles with 50% activity, 10 points captured in naval battles whilst controlling a ship or an aircraft, and then also 3 enemies with torpedoes in any game. So just over the course of the 2 days, you kill 3 people with torpedoes, that's your task done. Then also finish a battle in first place. Of course, it depends how good you are at naval. If you play naval a lot and you're going just for the naval vessels and you're just committing to getting them, I don't see why getting first at 1 point over the course of 2 days would be a problem. But there we go. So that's what you have to do. It's marks of distinction. I would say this is a fairly decent event. Of course, the marks of distinction, like in previous times we've had them, can be bought for Golden Eagles if you miss a specific mark of distinction. So if you really want to, you can just buy the event vehicles out. Obviously, we don't know how much it's going to cost, and it is worth noting these will be coupons that you can sell on the War Thunder market if you are on PC. Well, I think that covers most of it, so I will end the video there. Operation H.E.A.T, what do you think of it? Is it good? Is it bad? Do let me know in the comments. Personally, I'm very excited for the Albal and the P-59. I probably won't bother with the boats, although I might end up getting them if I have the time to grind them out. But really, for me, the aircraft and the tanks are my main priority. So, you know, starts in about a week, just under a week. So you have time to get ready, time to get practiced if you've not played the game in a while, or if you don't want to do it, that's perfectly fine. Anyway though, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy, please consider smashing the like button, maybe even subscribe to the channel. Of course, when I get these vehicles, first off the BT7, the 110, and maybe the River class, I will make videos on them, and then once I get the later vehicles, I will of course be making videos on them, full review videos, looking at them, and really just giving tactics and just playing with them and having some fun. I do also live stream on Twitch, link to that in the description, so if you want to watch me grinding out the Operation Summer tasks over the next few weeks, you can also come along and do that. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.